Yep, got my own end. I'll eventually get to doing a review of this, spoiler free, given certain circumstances, but there's a reason why I open up with this besides the fact I just got it. And see that signature? He won the poll. Not that surprising given who he is, given who I'm associated with, not I'm associated with, but who I'm friends with. Just by putting on that tweet you tag him in, it was guaranteed to be him. Should have known better, should have just gone right in with him, but you know, Ethan Van Sciver is who we're going to be talking about today. And first of the artists that I'll be doing my little creator spotlight, but what can I say about Ethan? He does such meticulous detail. Very great book. And you know, his artwork, there's a reason why I was so quick to be paying, put money down for Cyberfrog. And and I may not agree with everything Ethan says. I may have some issues with some of the things the man does, but his artwork, no, there's no comparison, there's no question about it. His artwork, I am guaranteed to get stuff out of it, because what can I say that I haven't gotten from this man before? I mean, it's like, even when it's just little things, brief one pages, like Justice League number 0. Yeah, this is well loved. He did one page, and yet so much detail in all this. It's like, wow. I mean, this guy is just a master craftsman. Plain and simple. What else can I say about him? Sorry if I'm looking distracted and trying to find one of the other books I realized I didn't grab. And this is what I get. But one of the books that I'm just going to be going, just like my Dan Jerry one, about everything I have and talk about what I love most about it. And one of which, one of the first stuff he did on his channel, was his work on New X-Men. Now, I'm aware of the history he had working on this thing, but what can I say though? It's still great artwork, nonetheless. You can't deny that. And he was also being done in and around with Phil Jimenez, who, great guy, great artist, and those two kind of have a similar art style in that regard, doing meticulous detail. I mean, come on, look at Wolverine there. Pretty badass, huh? And yeah, I mean, what again? This Ethan, he's slow because he does all these details. That much is true. The guy's tried multiple times to keep to a monthly schedule, and prior to recent circumstances, he's had some hits, some successes, some good attempts, depending on if he's actually able to keep himself prepared and everything, barring some unknown circumstances. And yeah, I mean, it's like the guy is a workhorse. You could tell in his artwork, and so many times his artwork is well worth the wait. Prime example, Green Lantern Rebirth. What else can you say about Green Lantern Rebirth? He and Jeff Johns recreated the Green Lantern Corps, and Ethan came up with some ideas they brought in, like the 3D hologram of the lanterns. And if I recall right, I could be wrong. Ethan, if you're watching this, probably will. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I seem to recall that it was Ethan's idea to have it be from now on that the lantern symbol was a badge that represented them graduating, and that before they got it, it was be a white circle representing rookie, and once they got there, were able to, show great courage or willpower, it would then appear and fill it in. Sorry about that, I don't know what's with me right now. But Ethan's artwork, I mean, just look at some of this. Just look at it. I mean, those of you who got this book, you know what it looks like, but again, every detail the man comes up with. It's no wonder it takes so long, but it's again so well worth it. Yet the guy's always changing. Like, for example, look how he handled Sinestro in the early days. Not the greatest, if you ask me, to be honest. What am I comparing it to? Well, of course I'm comparing it to when he would eventually do him on the covers and all that stuff for Sinestro Corps War. And while Ivan Rice took over by this point, there's still moments where you still had to have Ethan do stuff. Mainly the Sinestro Corps War opening, and there was actually one important thing that Ethan made sure happened. Oh, first of all, love this shot, love it. But there's one thing that came about that Ethan, because he wanted to draw the character, because he only knew he was doing the one-shot, that influenced how this issue was going to end and really made this one of the biggest shockers in modern day comics still. And originally Geoff Johns wanted to drop this character, but when Ethan said, no, I want to draw him, probably because he also knew Ivan was going to probably doing everything from this point on, we had the Anti-Monitor appear at the very end of that first issue, and oh lord, that just did it for me. That just sold me on everything. I love that so much. Notice I even write this book, but yeah, I love that just so much. And yeah, I've gotten so many autographs, signatures. I mean, look at this one, the Cyborg Superman cover. That was actually pretty nice of him having the glasses on. Or with Superboy, Superman Prime, sorry. Yeah, at that point they couldn't go with Superboy Prime, even though that's who he was by that point. I mean, you just had such great things all throughout this. I mean, and again, with Ethan, just, I mean, again, what else can I say about the man? It's just, his artwork is so incredible and well, I guess, and I said before, well detailed. And sorry, I'm just trying to find if there's an example, a supposed example that Ethan did in this book. Yeah, there we go. This is the case of him both doing artwork and story, and that was this stuff here involving the Sinestro Corp member. I just forgot her name, but basically, she's the one that's the more animalistic one. And the Black Lanterns actually took over the three beasts that raised her, and basically are taunting her, and it devastates her very much, to the point where she has a Green Lantern, ask her to help and bring it down. But of course, that Green Lantern is, she's devastated and still kills the guy that helped her. I mean, makes sense. She just had to put down her fathers, and what do you expect? What would you expect her to react with? And the fact that Ethan also designed so many of the Black Lanterns that showed in this book. And, I mean, just look at some of them. Just the fact, again, he took all that time. Now, he didn't design all of them. He's always made it clear he would have loved to have done it. He couldn't. And also wanted to say that when Geoff Johns finally wrapped everything up was issue 20, you still had to have Ethan come back for one last shot. And it is one of his best. Just take a look at all that. You just had to end it with him. It just had to. What else were you to do? You needed to end with, have Ethan have one of the last shots. If not, no, it was the last page. You just had to do it for this, if Geoff Johns was going to go. Now, I'll be honest on one thing, and I was going to tease this. I did tease this once, but I ended up dropping doing this. There are times where Ethan, in his early days, where he looked a bit more toony and all that, there are times where just that artwork style, like his early days, like when he first started out at Marvel and DC doing Impulse and all that, there are times where it worked. Then there are other times where it just came up a little weird. Like when he did Heroes Reborn Remnant. This was what I was going to review. Sorry, Ethan, but just felt a little like you took your detailed stuff. Like you were, I don't know where you were at. You can tell me again, but it felt like you were. If you asked me, it was like in between your Impulse stuff and you were starting to get more detailed, and it just sometimes came up a little wonky, if you ask me. I mean, I don't know what the story was behind all this, but again, you look at some of these moments where you're still having the tuniness, but you take my word for it, you're looking close, you still see the details. It's like, I don't know, it felt like this was a transitioning part and just didn't feel right. But then there's also times when Ethan has been on projects that want to show this off. He just did the cover on this one. This was for Superman and Batman number 75. Great stuff there. Times though where he's on a project and unfortunately, one reason or another, he drops. One of those cables was during Superman Batman. He did the first 3 issues, which is, says a lot. And this was, I think, when Moose was not doing the coloring except for the covers. But it really didn't, and I know, don't really care to talk about moves, I know, but just still look at this artwork still. Again, it's just so incredible. The different amount of characters that he gave, and that Mark Verheiden gave him to work on, like classic Martian Manhunter, fighting and Batman. You just have this stuff with Superman. I mean, just wow. Oh, an interesting take on the Parasite. Oh, Titano. Gotta love Titano. Again, I mean, this is a case where I'm more talking about his artwork, but that brief post 52 version of Martian Manhunter, he actually made that kind of intimidating. Pillbox headed Lois Lane. But then you even had regular Lois right there, and the caveman from Krypton. This whole point of the story was bringing so many Silver Age elements. And, the creature that would never die. It dies. Look at this cover here. I mean, the whole point of the story is that something is causing Superman to think he's more alien. Oh, his Kilowog. I always love his Kilowog. But some alien is supposed to make him feel more about his alien heritage. And then we also have a point where he got to draw a character he's been always talking about how he's always wanted to draw, and that was Plastic Man. And yeah, I can see why. Plastic Man is that one case of being Toonian. Starfire, that's a great Starfire. Pope Fire, if you're seeing this, I'm sure you'll get a good liking out of that. The Black Rock taking over Plastic Man. I mean, again, just the amount of detail he does with all this. It's just, what can I say? And there were times where he would come up and do these, help out with the artwork for some of the new Comic Book Day artwork, and his stuff was the New 52 Futures End. It was some of the most disturbing parts of it all, such as, well, this moment. Yep, Black Canary's face sewn into Frankenstein's chest. Really looked weird, but he's the only one that made it look right. Other artists eventually made it look a little, like she was more really sewn in. And then he would do other things, like, there were times where it surprised me when he would show up out of the blue. Like when he did this issue of Justice League of America with Dwayne McDuffie. It's just like, look at that Wonder Woman. I'm just gushing out the guy's artwork, but there's there are times when he does these one-offs, it just catches you all off guard. You're like, whoa, wait a minute, I didn't know he was going to do anything. More 1D. Or he does a cover as well, like this one here with Black Lightning. I really like that one. And you can see I've also had Ethan sign a bunch of these. And then you have, here's another case of him starting to work on a run, but at this point, things were getting rough in his life, so that's why he dropped. But his time on Batman Dark Knight, really, really good. Look at that cover. And again, the guy, and look, with Ethan, he's very eccentric. I can openly admit that. That's what I feel about him. And again, this is nothing but a gush fest, which that was the point. That's what you guys wanted to see. I mean, again, the guy just draws such great. You cannot say, what can I say about his artwork? It's just so incredible. Catwoman and Batman. Keep forgetting about that one. It's just, ooh, that Mad Hatter. Ugh. It's just, again, when the guy really tries his hardest, his heart is in it, you could so tell. Like, when he tried to do Firestorm the Nuclear Man, boy did he get screwed over big time with all this. And it just felt like look at this take on Firehawk. I love this version of Firehawk. It's a version I adore, very much so. And it just felt so unfair what happened eventually, because eventually by the time of issue, he did the covers for up to issue 11, by the time of issue 10, it's by the time he kind of got off the book. And I don't blame him, given how everything went, how things started with Gale. But again, he is such a creative force. But I will always associate him with Green Lantern, and also, where is it? His take with the Flash also was very clever. Just, this whole miniseries, which one a good example of him getting a different inker that really kind of makes it be like, whoa, what the heck happened? Would be, just look right here. Here's right, and one inker, here's the other. Yeah, you could definitely tell it was someone else doing that in that second to last page. Before the very last page, yeah. Again, his artwork is just so, and the words are failing me, right? And that's what it is. Words are failing me that I cannot describe just how incredible it is. And like I said, it's so well worth it. Like, right here during the Sinestro and the Sinestro issues, when he did Black Adam, he does a very good Black Adam. I mean, they're just his take on Light Lobo. I think he's one of the few people that actually get it right. I mean, they make this guy actually look like he's a nice blend between regular Lobo and that Lobo. It's like, again, what can one say about all of this? It just feels like he knew what to bring to the characters when he drew them. Then you also have his time doing the Edge of Oblivion mini-series. Again, only did a few issues. I forgot the reason why he had to step away from that one, but look at his squirrels. He gets that right level of being super detailed on everything, but at the same time, he knows how to keep it from going too photorealistic. It's that blend of realism with comic realism. I think it's the right way of putting it. And his drawing of Relic was really good. Just when he does these type of pages, more of it, just look at that detail again on Relic. It's just, you feel like you can see the ridges and everything. And again, back with Green Lantern, there were times where he just did all these events. Like when he helped out with the Godhead opening arc, how he started out with this one. And his take on the Source Wall is, well, I will always say that Michael Turner's version of the Source Wall is very interesting. Look at this one. Just look at that. And then eventually have its own little repeat at the end of Godhead with Billy Tan's take on it, which was also still very interesting. Now, Ethan only did the opening bits of this issue, but it was still very good, very good. In fact, let me just also show up his Dark Side. I don't know how often he drew Dark Side, but look at that. That is still a very intimidating Dark Side. He also had his stuff here with Convergence issue 0. This is one of the pages. They kept showing this in ads. Just take a look. Just look at all those versions of Deaths of Superman. It's like, wow. Or how he met his end. And how he did the regular Brainiac. He's the one. Were you the one that designed that, Ethan? Please let me know on that one, because that was just, what the fuck? And stubbled Superman. It's just, again, I could just keep flipping through and showing everything off, but again, I don't know what else to say about all this. Just, again, when the guy's on his game, he is on his game, and when he has the right inker and colorist, he is just so... Wait, and Telos? Again, did you design Telos, Ethan? I'm not sure. Then you also have when he does other things, like when he worked with the Dawnbreaker. This, again, was one of his best. I think this is definitely one of his hand-down best work. Just when he does stuff like Bruce becoming a Green Lantern and taking an idea and just twisting it. And you just look at so much of this. It's like, yeah, seriously, what? Just look at some of this. okay, what else can I say? I mean, give the guy a great art and writer, and he can do a whole bunch of stuff. This is my last bit of stuff. When he did stuff with Hal joined the Green Lantern Corps, I mean, just, again, look at that. I mean, again, what else can I say about all of this? This is one of those cases where it feels like he was, I don't know if he was on a, deadline or a different inker, but there's sometimes where, okay, sorry, I'm sounding like I'm bashing, but it's not. Just sometimes it feels like there's a little bit of inconsistencies or weirdness, like not as, some parts are very detailed, other parts are not. I guess it depends on how close or how far the characters are, but this was still a great issue to do. If you're going to come, you're going to start off with another Rebirth, you needed Ethan to get things going again. You cannot do a Green Lantern Rebirth without having Ethan involved somewhere in it. And then, of course, you got to show off this in the Jessica Cruz one, since he co-created her, sorry. And again, it's just again, it just feels like you have to have something involved with Green Lantern, at least as far as the Jeff Johns era. Jeff Johns through Venditti era of Green Lantern, you needed Ethan at certain places. You just needed him. Even near the end, when his last issue was it 45? Issue 45 was his last issue with the whole book. And even then, again, just such phenomenal work. Just look at that. His last issue was, well, I won't say it was actually exactly his best. Personally, I felt like his Hector Hammond looked a lot better during Rebirth than it did here. But other than that, though, I mean, it just felt like so well done still. It's like if this was his, Izad, and Ursa and their son taking that stuff. And it's like, again, so well done, felt so good. What else can I say? Seriously, what else can a person say about Ethan that hasn't been said? This was just, again, me just showing off all I had and gushing about him, but Ethan, keep up the good work. Keep drawing, keep working on Cyberfrog. You've done such good work. You are one of those artists. You are, maybe not my all-time favorite. There's some other people there, but you who would go up there, but you are way up there. Like, either in my top 10 or just near my top 10. Because I have certain criteria, I admit, but you earned it. You earned your place. You've earned. There's a reason why people voted on you for me to talk about you once I had you on that poll. You earned it. Keep being you. Keep doing what you're doing. Get Cyberfrog out as soon as you can. And that's all I gotta say. Take care. Catch y'all later. And I will get to this probably in my next video. Hopefully. It'll be a spoiler-free review, like I said, so yeah, it'll be a short one. So, yep. Like, once again, take care.